Hey, what's up guys, Matt Shiny here, come back with a brand new video for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about every single way you can profit on CSGO. Now for this video, we're going to be pretty much talking about every single way. We're not going to be going to any outside sources, we're not going to be heading to any websites or any things like that. We're going to be talking about every single way you can be profiting inside of CSGO, what that's going to look like, what you can expect profit-wise, and how everything inside of that is going to work. But before we hop on into this one, if you guys are looking to buy some CSGO skins, I've got a couple links down in the description, but let's hop on into it. First up here, obviously we gotta go with investing into certain items, one of which at this point is the Stockholm capsules. You could have made some pretty easy and cheap profit off of this if you had invested earlier. Now this is going to come along with every major where we're gonna have the opportunity to buy some of these capsules that will then be discontinued. It's gonna be up to your discretion at that point if you want to invest into those. However, these capsules usually are a pretty easy way to get in, usually only about 25 to 27 cents depending on your area and tax and conversion rate when the sale is going on, and that's usually when you're going to want to buy if you're looking to invest into these. Now it's honestly 100% up to you if you want to go the investing route. It's probably going to make it exponentially easier depending on how much you put in, but at the same time there also is a decent amount of risk with this. This is the only method where over a certain amount of period of time, theoretically talking forever here, you can potentially lose money. We've saw the Berlin capsules go from about $1.50 or so all the way down to they're sitting under $1 now, and they're probably not going to recover to that $1.50-ish mark that they were sitting at before. So it's definitely something you got to look out for here if you're not buying in for a super cheap price point. Now I'm sure if you're on my channel at least, you probably knew about that way. However, the other ones are going to be much more interesting, and honestly you probably have heard of them, but you haven't really executed them correctly. First up, we've got reselling. Now reselling is a really easy and simple way to make a lot of money on the Steam market. Now, if you're interested in reselling or flipping skins, they're pretty much interchangeable. I've got a full video about that and you'll see it in a card right here. But it's definitely going to be worthwhile if you're not too familiar, or even if you've got a decent understanding, to watch what I have in this video and watch the full entire video about it. Taking you over to the actual Steam market here, this is one skin we're going to look out for. Now it doesn't have to be this specific skin, however I'm going to show you what about this skin we like and what about the skin really makes it a lot of potential. So first up here, it's kind of an older skin, it's from the Armsteel 2, that's not too important. However, there's usually when you're going to find a bigger margin is with older skins. Now what we're going to see here is the first buy order is listed at $8.56, whereas the actual one listed on the market is $10.89. What this basically means is you're able to put a buy order in at say potentially $8.57, which you can see these people are trying to capitalize off here. This person, theoretically speaking, if they bought it at $8.56 and sold it at $10.89, would be making 91 cents, which is a lot of money. That's over a 10% margin. That's really hard to find, and honestly it's usually not going to be actually true. This person probably is looking more around a 5% margin or 45 cents if they wanted to sell in a relatively short time period. You're going to have to go above these buy orders here because you can see on the graph there's not a ton of these being sold. However, there are some being sold for that higher price point. If you get lucky with your float, it's definitely going to be easier, but as you can see here there are some 0.07s, but this one is float capped, I do believe. As you can see, it really isn't going above 0.0763. So the float on this one's not going to be too important. You're not going to be stuck with a high float here, and the low floats really aren't fetching that much extra money here. So this is a really good skin if you're able to get into it at that price point. However, this can really go with any skin. If you install the Steam Inventory Helper add-on, you're going to be able to see this margin right away, and that's usually a good indicator. However, it's not going to be foolproof. In the way that we're looking at this one here, this is one I would personally kind of stay away from just because it's honestly a little bit too slow moving for my like. As you can see, we're only looking at maybe 2 to 3 sold a day. That's a little too slow for me because there's a chance you might be stuck with this skin for a bit of time, and that's eating away at your money there. However, I think it's definitely a good starter position if you're trying to figure out what skins are looking good and what good margin looks like when you're looking at these skins. skins. After that, we've got Tradeups. Now, Tradeups are going to be your bread and butter here. These are going to be the most important things in making money. Now, if you'll notice here, I've got a lot of Prisma 2. Prisma 2, Danger Zone, those ones are all really good because they have float capped skins. Float cap skins, especially when you're looking at your pink variety, is what you want because that means I could put in 10 field tested skins and get out a minimal wear skin, and that's what we're looking for. That's where your profit's going to be. Most of the time, it's going to be pretty hard to find ones that are going to consistently get you some profit and are not too hard to get the skins for. Prisma 2 I've found is usually one of the easier ones. I've got a lot of field tested skins as you can see here, and I put a buy order in for 37 cents on these, and when I go to sell, as you can see, I go for 42 cents. So it doesn't always sell immediately, I'm not too worried about that, but I'm going to be making a cent just by listing this on the market, and they're going to sell. They've sold in the past. We're only a couple days into this selling period, and honestly, if I don't sell it for 42, I'll just mark it down to 41. As you can see in my market history, 37 cents is what I get back with this SSG 553 Darkwing, and honestly, it's probably what I might have to mark these acid etched down to, but they're still going to be making me profit with the trade up. When we head over to the trade up portion here, you can see super easy float 0.23. This is one of the ones I actually pointed out in my daily December because it's such a great trade up, because you're going to be going for that minimal wear Phantom Disruptor here, just barely squeaking in on the float. Who cares? Honestly, you're going to be getting a pretty decent payday of almost $4 if you're able to hit this, and a collective $2.50 if you're hitting both of these. So honestly, on average, say you hit all of them once, you're going to be up around $1.30-ish, which is definitely going to be very nice. Now here, I'm just showing you the example that works for me. If you follow a person on Twitter called Powick, he has actually just absolutely destroyed the trade-ups market and made tons of money by doing this. So I definitely recommend you guys get into this because there's a lot of money to be made, and it's usually pretty reliable. Obviously, there are some risks here. You could go statistically improbable, do 30 of these and never hit a Phantom Disruptor. That's just how it is. But on average, you'll see you should be making around 45 cents per trade up, which is really nice, especially when we're already making a cent per skin that we're selling back, or potentially even breaking even. As long as we're not doing this for a loss, we're going to be in a pretty good position. Now, I just skipped right to the inputs here because I do have to find very specific floats for this one, but it does take time for your buy orders. That's something it's going to take a while. So it took about a week for me to get all these skins and actually get the buy orders start to come in. But you can see that it's really easy once they just start coming in. The biggest thing is you need to make sure you have enough Steam balance in your wallet, otherwise your buy order is just going to get kicked out and that time you spent wasted for a couple skins because you didn't get to execute the full buy order. I usually go for about 50 skins of each kind just because there is a decent amount you have to sell back, but let's see if we can hit that AK. Ooh, alright, back for round 2. It's actually pretty interesting the amount of skins you get, but let's see how this one goes. Wow, alright, attempt number 3. I guess that's the risk involved with trade ups. I went 4 straight, which is pretty hard to do. That's a 1 in 81 chance to get 4 Mag 7 Justices straight. But I guess that shows you the risk of trade-ups, which is, I guess, the point I was supposed to be making. Finally then, we've got our in-game drops. Now there's 2 kinds of in-game drops. The ones that we really want to focus on are going to be the cases. Now the cases, you really can go 2 ways with this. First up, you can go the way of selling it immediately. This is what you want to do whenever there's a case over 20 cents. You want to sell it immediately unless you think it's like the clutch case where it's going to be moved into the rare drop pool very soon. Like the Dreams and Nightmares case, you want to sell it immediately if you get it and just use that money on potentially trade ups or anything else. Other than that, if you're looking at a fracture case that's like 6 cents, honestly, hold on to it for the long run. You're not going to be doing anything with those 4 cents that is going to be worthwhile unless you've got like 30 of them to sell, which honestly is a waste in my eyes because you're losing a lot to Steam tax there. But that's pretty much all I have for today, guys. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Drop down in the comments below if there's any other methods I missed, but I think this is primarily the big 4.